Now, we must touch on D.C., my hometown, because Washington, D.C., supposedly the capital of the free world, but I'll give you guys the ugly truth. 700,000 Americans who live there. They have fewer rights than people in any other state. They pay federal taxes. They fight in our wars, and yet they have no vote in Congress. They have no senators, a single House delegate with no real power. They just holding a seat, getting paid for absolutely nothing, maybe pushing papers and sending emails. And when push comes to shove, even their local government can be overridden by yours truly, the president of these United States of America. As I was speaking earlier about Section 740, just this couple of days ago, our president, Section 740, which is the Home Rule Act, which is a 1973 law that grants Washington, D.C. residents only limited authority to govern themselves with one signature. He took direct control of the city's police department. No governor could have done this to them. But D.C., do not forget, my home city, my home region, my home district is not a state. And that's the difference. The Home Rule Act is basically a leash, like a dog. It lets D.C. elect a mayor and a council, but Congress and the president can yank the leash at any time. Section 740 is a perfect example. It lets the president federalize the Metropolitan Police Department by bypassing the mayor entirely. She doesn't have any power, Mayor Bauer, especially when the president steps in. Now, imagine D.C. as the 51st state. That police force, it would be under a state constitution, not a federal statute. That's a clear distinction of the amount of authority that a governor and a state would have. And the president could request National Guard support, but couldn't simply seize control of local law enforcement without going through the governor. And a governor could say no. Now, same thing happened in California, no less. He kind of deployed troops there and he didn't even care what the governor stated. And the Supreme Court backed his play. So again, does it really make a difference when we speak about authoritarianism? See, a governor could fight it in state courts as well as in federal courts. They could slow the process. They could demand negotiations. They can use the full power of the state sovereignty to protect their citizens. But a mayor, Mayor Bauer, they have no such shield. The law is written so the president can simply take over. You guys want to know the power of a mayor. Administer city services under Congress rules, again, under Congress, be overruled by the federal law instantly, appeal decisions, but without a constitutional power base, they have no power. But what could a governor do? See, a governor, he could command state-controlled police forces. He can refuse certain federal orders unless martial law, which that's basically what's being imposed, or specific statutes are invoked. He can use state courts to challenge federal overreach. He can mobilize their own National Guard unless, what President Trump has done, federalize them. Call on 2 U.S. senators and a full voting House delegation to apply political pressure. Again, a governor, and being a state, provides different layers of protections and different functions within the federal government he could actually exercise or she could exercise. This isn't by any accident, folks, because in 1790, Congress carved D.C. out of Maryland and Virginia to serve as a federal capital. And the idea, a neutral seat of government, not beholden to any state. Now, for decades, residents had no local government at all. But in 1973, the Home Rule Act gave them a mayor and council, but it also gave Congress and the president a back door into every decision that is made in D.C. So D.C. became the ultimate paradox, the center of American democracy, quote unquote, republic, but a colony of Congress. And let me tell you this is why statehood changes everything. It will mean that they will at least have 2 senators, a voting representative, a constitution, and real sovereignty. It means no president could simply seize control of your police without facing legal and political firepower. It means that the budget can't be vetoed by Congress because they don't like your local laws. And it means that 700,000 people who live in the capital of the United States of America stop living under rules designed for the 1800s. That's what that means. Because right now, Washington, D.C. is the only place in America where the president can do this. Take over a local police force with a pen stroke. And it's only possible because D.C., if we truly believe in equal representation, then the people who live here deserve more than a mayor. They deserve a governor, a legislator, and the power to say, Mr. President, you don't just get to take over our city. The capital of the free world should be free itself. So DC has no power. The mayor has no power. The city council has no power when Congress and the president steps in. Again, should DC be a 51st state? I believe it should. I was born and raised in Washington, D.C. You know, when you tell people you're from D.C. and you have someone from D.C., they say, well, are you from D.C., or you from Maryland or Virginia? Because the whole DMV area, people tend to have the same culture. They tend to have the same lingo, some of the same slang. So again, people may say they're from D.C., but they're actually from Maryland or Virginia. No. Born in Southeast Community Hospital, graduated from Cardozo Senior High School. That is a true Washingtonian. And that is true DC. So again, should DC be a 51st state? Hell yes.